Good morning. Last session we discussed softening methods, that means external treatment, ion exchange process and zeolite process discussed. In this session, internal conditioning methods we will discuss. It involves the removal of scale forming substances which were not completely removed in the external treatment by adding chemicals directly into the boiler. These chemicals are also called boiler compounds. First one is carbonate conditioning, phosphate conditioning, calgon conditioning, colloidal conditioning, sodium aluminate conditioning. First one, carbonate conditioning. Scale formation can be avoided by adding sodium carbonate into the boiler water. It is used only in low pressure boilers. The scale forming salts like calcium sulfate is converted into calcium carbonate, which can be removed easily. Second method is phosphate conditioning. In this conditioning method, sodium phosphate is added. Scale formation can be avoided by adding sodium phosphate. It is used in high pressure boilers. The phosphates react with the calcium and magnesium salts to give soft sludges of calcium and magnesium phosphate. 3 calcium sulfate plus trisodium phosphate to form calcium phosphate and sodium sulfate. In this conditioning, 3 different types of the phosphates are used. One is trisodium phosphate, another one is disodium hydrogen phosphate, last one is sodium dihydrogen phosphate. The next one, calgon conditioning. Calgon means sodium hexametaphosphate. This is the complexing agent. Na2, Na4, PO3 6 times. These substances interact with the calcium ions present in the hard water. It is forming a highly soluble complex and thus prevents the precipitation of scale forming salts. So calcium sulfate combined with calgon to form sodium calcium phosphate plus sodium sulfate. Next one is colloidal conditioning. In low pressure boilers, scale formation can be avoided by adding colloidal conditioning agents like kerosene, agar-agar and gelatin. These substances get coated over the scale forming particles and convert them into non-adherent loose precipitate called sludge, which can be removed by blowdown operation. Blowdown operation means removal of concentrated water by adding fresh water frequently, so it can be easily removed. In this colloidal conditioning method, all the scale forming substances are converted into sludge forming substances. Comparatively, sludge forming substances can be easily removed. The next one, sodium aluminate conditioning. In sodium aluminate is added into the boiler water, gets hydrolyzed yielding sodium hydroxide and gelatinous precipitate of aluminum hydroxide as in the reaction. NaAlO2 sodium aluminate is added into the water sample. It converted into sodium hydroxide. Then magnesium chloride plus sodium hydroxide is magnesium hydroxide. This is the internal treatment method. In this internal treatment method, maximum of the hardness producing substances removed with the help of the chemicals. One is carbonate, another one is phosphate, another one is calgon, another one is colloidal, another one is sodium aluminate method. In the sodium aluminate method, the flocculant precipitates of aluminum hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide produced inside the boiler entrap finely suspended and colloidal impurities, including all drops of silica. Oily particles and silica particles also removed with the help of the sodium aluminate conditioning methods. In maximum of the hard water, it contains large number of the silica particles as well as oily particles. These type of the silica and oily particles deposited on the inner walls of the boiler, it automatically creates a lot of problems. So, removal of the oily particles and silica particles with the help of the kerosene agar-agar gel. Actually, agar-agar gelatin is the gel type structures. So, a gel type material entrap the oily droplets and silica particles. So, all the silica and oily particles are deposited on the skin of the gelatin or agar-agar gel. The loose precipitate can be removed by predetermined blowdown operation. Blowdown operation means same That means a removal of concentrated water by adding fresh water. So comparatively, all the conditioning methods, colloidal, carbonate, phosphate, calcium, sodium, aluminate method, sodium aluminate conditioning method is very cheap and best and easily acceptable methods. Thank you.